truck. Turn
Ready
on.
to roll.
You ready to rock, Miss Sky? We're at the container terminal. Again, we're in a Volvo this time.
Let's go.
Rather enthusiastic Skynet today.
Okay, let's find a new route.
Let's do that, Skynet. Let's find a new route, as you call it.
This is where it ends.
Hello, I'm Simulator Dirk, and welcome back to Japan Truck Simulator. We are on our quest for our own truck and our quest for level 5, which is what we need to get that truck. We'll be hauling 5 tons of brake fluid today to Horaru. It'll be worth 771,000 Japanese yen to us when we do it. 50 hours in the window, 1,325 kilometers, 23 hours journey time, but as we know, a lot of that could be ferry time. So let's get into the truck. Here's our load: 5 tons of brake fluid, 2 smaller containers on the one trailer. We've got a nice looking Volvo on the front there. Now, on the last episode and on previous episodes, I've had a little bit of a hard time getting out of the area where we start, but this time it's relatively easy, even though we've only got a small turning circle. I don't know if this is realistic for Japan, but having said that, if you have a look at the amount of distance that they've given between us and those concrete blocks, it doesn't look good. Let's get in the truck, fire everything up, and say good morning to Skynet. Morning, Skynet.
Let's go.
Let's go, she says. Alright, let's go. Now, I'm just going to do this out of here to show you how little room we actually have to get out of here. This is going to be tight as anything. How they expect you to get out of here. Oh, that is so close. Because not only did you have to watch there, you have to watch that as well. I'm on maximum lock. And already, I've nudged that trailer next to us. That's ridiculous. But I've done it in the end pretty well. Alright. Anchor, out we go. It's just after 8 PM on Sunday. Need to watch both ways, even through those magical X's.
turn right.
Rightio. Good morning, Skynet. Our in-game navigator. Hopefully during this batch of recording we will make our level 5 where did he hit us? Yeah, he hit us and we get slammed for it. Typical Euro truck. We're standing still, truck hits us, and then we get done for it. Yeah, typical. Alright, let's go. Sunday evening, 8 p.m. We're expected
Get ready to turn left.
Monday night, so basically 24 hours, 23 and a half hours away. Of course, that's unrealistic
Turn left.
because you need rest stops. Even if you are on the ferry, the only way that will work is if you do like maximum driving hours and then onto the ferry, and then you'd be close. So we're going to be driving through the night. We've got a long window on this long job. So hopefully we'll get our level, as I was saying before we got hit by the other truck. Hopefully in this recording session,
And then turn left.
because I do record several episodes in a row. Let's hope that I get to level 5 by the end of this recording session, because if I don't, I'll be dead set ropeable. Now, one thing that I don't necessarily do in Euro Truck and American Truck and Japan Truck, which I really should, is I should be a bit more realistic in where I position the truck when I'm starting to go around a corner. So this left-hand corner, I don't have to be in the left-hand lane because I'm a heavy vehicle.
Go straight on.
Oh, I got a green light now. Sweet. And we're
Keep
going
right.
right
And then
up here.
turn right. Turn right.
My major thing that I'm pleased about at the moment is that the project Japan is still working with a semi-updated version of Euro Truck. That's here we go. We're not running on the version 1.4.0 of Euro Truck yet, so that's good. That'll probably bring a change to Japan Truck when that happens.
Keep right. And then turn right.
So what that also probably means, although a lot of trucks, like you have a look at that AI truck, he's perfectly positioned. It's not a bad corner, this one, but if you're on a tight corner, there's nothing wrong with using the lane next to you.
Keep left.
Okay, keeping left. Going through the tolls. And I dare say we'll be on this freeway, or hopefully we'll be in freeway type conditions for a while. Are we exiting Skynet? No, we're not. A little bit of guidance would have been sweet. A little bit of verbal guidance. Although, having said that, she's a pretty good navigator. I'm trying to get Japan truck up there with Euro truck and American truck in a similar, like, so the episode numbers are similar in terms of the actual amount of episodes I've produced. So I'll have a go at, you know, keeping as many Japan truck episodes going as we can, while then I know that it's working. I'm probably going to have to update. Oh, you don't even know what we hit then. The sidewall, maybe. I know that I'm probably going to have to update my American map mods. We finished American Truck Simulator in Northwest Territories of Canada.
Keep left and then turn left.
I never thought that we were going to get into Canada with American Truck Simulator, so
Turn left.
and calling it North American Truck Simulator doesn't have the same ring to it. We need to turn left up here. So we will.
Keep right.
Hang on, are we keeping left or we're keeping right now, are we, Skynet? Okay. Had to keep left first and then we're keeping right, so we don't go down there. Some of these turns are very, very tight. Sometimes the map is more confusing than what it's worth, even though I've got it on maximum zoom. So we'll go through the toll gate that's more convenient for us, because it doesn't seem to matter which one you go through. Here we go. got the feeling I've been over this bridge a few times. Oh, there's a Ferris wheel that we've seen in previous episodes. So, oh, there's we have been down here. Some spectacular looking bridges in simulated Japan. I've been in Japan on 2 separate occasions for a week each. I didn't travel on the roads that extensively. I went around the local areas that I was in, and apart from that, a lot of the time I was actually on the train. But if you know me, well, that should be no great surprise, really. Yeah, that's right, because we came the other way. We were coming the other way last time I saw this because it was on the right. I remember that as a nice looking Ferris wheel, that one. Actually, it looks to be a fair amount of traffic here ahead of us for Japan Truck Simulator. There's probably way more cars on the road realistically. What's going on up here? We had a broken down truck, have we? Oh, I've got a truck trying to merge and everyone's staying. Yeah, that was the problem. Instead of moving over like I've done, a lane ended, and you've got the merge as well. So if I'm driving my car on a motorway, yes, it says to keep left. Like, but if you're on a three lane motorway, there's nothing wrong with being in the middle lane. And I'll always, if I've got a preference for a lane on a motorway, it's usually the centre one, because I'm not usually as affected by cars entering and leaving the motorway. But that was just a classic example of traffic was just jammed up because a lane ended and cars were trying to merge on, or in this case a truck was trying to merge on, and there was no room because no one moved over. Now, they're not obligated to move on, but the traffic just flows a lot better when you do actually let people merge like that. Keep left. Thank you, Skynet. Oh, my camera wasn't very well orientated then because I was moving to see the rear view mirror on the mirror on the left. Something important's happening in 200 meters. I don't know if I'd ever try driving in Japan, to be honest. I'm presuming I'd be allowed to, like hire a car and drive around, but I don't think I'd want to. Like I've driven in Europe, and I've driven in the UK, and I've driven in America. I don't know if I'd want to drive in Japan. Certainly wouldn't be driving a truck. I'd be driving something like a Nissan Cube. Then again, with the I can think of the two places that I stayed at when I was in Japan, in Napori and also next to Shinjuku, there probably wouldn't have been any spaces to park my car anyway. So, because I know in Australia, for instance, which is where I'm from, you don't, when you go to a hotel, you take it for granted that there's car parking. Very few hotels that I've stayed in haven't had car parking. Some of them, some of the car parking you have to pay for, but in other places, you know, you just park your car and it's all good. You don't have to pay. But in both of those places in Japan, I don't remember them being car parking. They were both multi-story hotel complexes, so sort of similar in size to the unit block that I'm living in now at Erk Tower. And even at Erk Tower, for most apartments there is one spot allocated. Some of the larger ones might have two, like the 3 and 4 bedroom units. Like the penthouse above me might have 2 spots allocated to them, but usually only one. And we don't have visitors parking. So I usually have to tell my visitors, you know, there's parking on the street, good luck. But the interesting thing, an interesting thing is now that I don't actually own a car. As of the time of recording, I have my scooter, or in some places I call them a moped.
Keep right.
And I live so close to my actual place of employment that I can walk, so I don't need a car for that anymore. Whereas before I was driving up to an hour to get there. Before that I was driving basically once a month. But I thought, well, with the money that I'm paying for registration, insurance, and there'll be some big repair bills coming soon because the car's getting older. It's about 15 years old now. So I thought, with all that in mind, now's a good time to sell it while I'm on my annual leave from my place of employment. And yesterday I went to the dealer. I said, I would like to sell my car. They said, we would like to buy your car. And the process was relatively painless. And then I caught the bus back to Erk Tower. Then I got locked out of Erk Tower. Funny story about that one, that I'm not even really mad about, because it can happen. Once a month I have someone come over and clean my apartment. I keep it tidy in the meantime, but you know, just to do the things that I can't do very well, or I don't have the time to do well, or that I don't have time to do. For instance, I don't own a vacuum cleaner, as a classic example, and I'm not a massive fan of vacuuming, as one example. So I have a lady who comes over once a month and just gives it a good clean, and then I do the rest in the month in between when she comes. So because parking's is so difficult here, as I said, I don't have a visitor spot and there's on-street parking. I actually had my car parked on the street because I knew that I was going out to sell it. And a little bit of a side note on that in a minute. So I said to her that when she arrives, she can have the spot that I'm in, because I know because I'm going straight out. so it's easy for her to park. Because you look after your cleaner, and they'll do a better job. You look after them, you establish a relationship with them, and it'll be better all round. I've had some terrible luck with cleaners so far since I've been living at her tower. Anywho, so she finds a parking spot. I give her my keys. I said I'll be back in a couple of hours. Usually takes her a couple of hours to do what she has to do. And we exiting this guy? I know I should probably be in the left lane at this point, just based on the illustration. I don't know if we're actually exiting yet. Doesn't look like we are. A little bit of reassurance, Skynet would be nice. Anywho, so I go off and sell the car. I don't have spare keys. I go off and sell the car. I'm catching the bus back. You know, the time frame's getting close to when she's normally finished, and I'm expecting a phone call to say, hey mate, I'm finished, I'm just about to leave. What are we going to do about the keys? I didn't get a phone call, so I'm thinking by the time I get back to the apartment, she's still there. She can buzz me into the apartment, all good. I get there, no cleaner's car. So I thought, well, maybe she's moved spots because of parking restrictions. I check my phone, I get a message, hey mate, I finished. I've left the keys next to the microwave, hope that's cool. I give her a call. No, that's not cool. I don't have spare keys. You have the only set of keys, and now
Left, and then turn left.
you had the only set of keys, and now you've locked them in my apartment.
Turn left.
She was horrified. And, you know, it's something that can easily happen. You know, because sometimes what's happened, like I've gone out for a ride on the scooter or whatever while she's here, because I don't want to get in the way. But I've always had the keys, so she knows, and I'll say to her, if I'm not back, just go. But I said to her this time, I said, I'll see you when I come back. Now, it obviously wasn't clear in her mind that she had the only set of keys. So I've rung her up. She says, I'll go around and I'll get the spare set from the property manager, go get the spare set, and I'll see you soon. And she was very apologetic, and I was very calm about the whole thing. The fact that I'm even telling you the story in this calm way now, I was very, very calm about it. As I said to her, what's yelling at you going to achieve? You know you messed up. You know, I want to keep the good relationship we've got. What's the point in getting angry? There's no point. Whereas, you know, I would have been upset before. You know, because I've had a lot happen, I would have been up. Dude, you're not in a really good position between us two trucks like that, just quietly. I'm quite happy just to stay here for the moment. And she's really apologetic and said, you know, I can see with the benefit of hindsight that it wasn't a good idea. I should have rung you. And I even thought that it was a bad idea when I was doing it, but I thought it would be okay. And I said, no, I don't have a spare set. And the ironic thing was, I was actually going to contact my property manager and say, can I have a spare set of keys in case I get locked out? Because the property manager is about 40 minutes away if they're at their office. And I thought, I know that one day I'm going to get locked out of the apartment, and I thought that's that'll be because of me, because of, you know, forgetting the keys or whatever. And I've been so careful in the
Keep left and then exit left.
8 months I've been here at Oak Tower. And I never thought that,
Exit left.
I never thought it would be because of the cleaner. I always thought it would be because of me. So that's one thing I need to get onto. Now the reason I was parked in the street in the first place was because my unit block is 9 stories tall, including 2 levels of car parking. Now the basement level is totally sealed, but for some reason the ground level, which is where my car was parked, there's space for dirt and dust to get in, and I don't know why that's just not sealed either. But you know, there's lots of room for dirt and dust to get in, and the front end of my car would get especially dirty, and because I wasn't driving it, the dirt and dust would build up. So I had a time frame in mind where I wanted to get rid of the car, and I thought, well, you know, I hadn't got it detailed for a while, you know, vacuumed inside, washed outside, etc. So I thought, well, I'll get that done because that looks better, and it looks like that I look after the car, and usually I do. But as I said, I haven't been driving it much, on average once a month. So without looking at the weather forecast, I'm thinking, because I was more working on the time frame rather than the weather, I thought I'll book it in for last Thursday. So last Thursday comes, I get up before the appointment, because I set the appointment in the morning, because they basically needed the car all day. And it was raining really, really hard, and so I said, no, there's no point in getting the car detailed because it's raining. Sent a text to the car detail. I said there's no point. They didn't check their text messages because I sent it before they started work, hoping that they would get it and see it when they started. But that wasn't the case. So I get a phone call 20 minutes after the appointment saying, mate, you're not here, what's going on? And I says to him, you can see the weather outside, what's the point? What's the point in getting it done?
Keep left and then turn left.
And he says, well, we do it undercover,
Turn left.
but as soon as you go outside, of course, the car's going to get wet. So I thought, what's the point? Because by then I checked the forecast and I could see that it was forecast for like 3 straight days of rain. So I said, let's get it done on the Saturday when it's scheduled to be sunny, when it's forecast to be sunny. Okay, let's do that. Saturday came, it was looking a bit overcast, but it wasn't raining, so let's get it done. So I got it done, and as it was, it rained on Saturday afternoon, but I thought rather than put it back in the car park and getting it all dusty and dirty again, I thought I'll just park it on the street. So I parked it on the street for the weekend, and then on Monday had to move the car a couple of times because of parking restrictions. But I did it. The car looks sweet. It's sold now. It's part of my history. It was a good car. It was a Subaru Forester. And actually predates or around about the same time as me getting into podcasting originally in 2007. But my needs have changed a lot since then. I don't need a massive car. I never really took it off-road apart from the first year, and even then it wasn't strenuously off-road. So for the moment at least, I might get a car later on, but it'll be a very small one. I actually want to buy a Nissan Cube, which you do get to see in Japan Truck Simulator. I actually like the look of them. A lot of people don't like the look of the Nissan Cube, but you know, because I like Japan and stuff, and you know, they're everywhere over there. You see them very, very occasionally on Australian streets. They do get imported. Japan and Australia, we drive on the same side of the road. A lot of cars in Australia are actually Japanese imports anyway. So they're used to dealing with the Australian import market. And just for what I need it for, something as small as a Japanese Cube that's got a little bit of storage capacity, like if I go to the laundromat, for instance. You know, I've got one parking space. You know, I don't need a manual car anymore. The main reason that I got a manual car in the first place is so I can learn how to drive manual fire trucks. Don't need to do that anymore because I'm not in a fire service. And so now Erk Tower is carless. So if I do have a visitor, the first visitor that comes in can actually have my parking spot. So we've got, it's Monday morning, just after 1 a.m. If we find a rest spot, we should probably take it. I think we're still a long way from the ferry at this stage. If I get to an intersection, the next intersection I get to, I'll actually look it up and see how far away we are. We've been driving for a fair while now, approaching the 4-hour mark. That's fatigue meter, as I call it.
Left, and then exit left.
The fatigue meter shows blue pretty quickly. They have
Exit left.
like 8 hours between rest stops, and I've been driving for about 4 at this point. So if I get to an intersection, I'll pull up the map and see how far away we are, because no doubt there's a ferry. Oh, my fuel's getting lowish as well, so that's a consideration.
Get ready.
Oh, hang on. I don't have to look at the map. There's the ferry. I don't have to look at the map.
Turn right.
So this one looks fairly even in terms of the distance you travel before you get on the ferry and the distance you travel after you get on the ferry. It looks fairly even. In Oshima, I've been here a few times before now. So Monday 2:30 in the morning. Let's get on. Alright, so this is where we're off to. Let's go. Alright.
Recomputing.
Oh, recomputing. You all know fun, Skynet. We're recomputing. How about finding us a new route? We're recomputing. That must be an update. So it's Monday afternoon now, just before 4 p.m. We've got 3 hours of driving, 3 hours and 18 minutes of driving. It's just started to rain, so we'll put our wipers on. So rest will no longer be an issue because of being on the ferry for that long takes the rest out of the equation. But for safety, and considering that I'm not paying for the fuel anyway, need to fill the truck up with petrol or diesel, probably more to the point, and I've done that again. Haven't swung hard enough to get around. Not for the first time I've done that, probably at the same place actually. So if I see a fuel station, we call them a petrol station or a service station in Australia. If I see one of them, well, we'll pull in and get some fuel. Really looking forward to seeing the next update for Project Japan. At the end of the episode,
Ready to turn left.
at the end of the episode, I should actually have a look and see
Turn left.
how we're going, and I'll report back on the next episode to see how we're going and see how we're going. See how we're going in relation to the updates for Project Japan.
Get ready to turn left. Turn left.
Yeah, I can remember getting stuck at this intersection before.
Get ready to turn right.
Now a lot of rest stops will start to come up, and I don't need a rest stop. There's a Family Mart, recognise that one. It's a rest stop. I'll say these rest stops, don't need them now. Pretty sure there's a servo around the corner somewhere. And now the rain stops, so I don't need the wipers.
Get ready to turn left. Turn left.
Yeah, something like that. Is that the Japanese love wagon? Oh, I've had that discussion before. It's the police. It's a bus. Looks like they've done some resurfacing here. Now, I haven't made any mods to Project Japan since the previous bunches of episodes that I've created, but looks rather new. The road surface does anyway. It's another rest stop that I don't need. So if I need fuel, oh, he got me for speeding. I'm only in a 50 zone. Where is he? He's probably behind me, the Japanese popo. Although I'm surprised for the amount of time that I do speed in any of these truck simulators that I don't get caught more often than I do. But I like that attention to detail that they've used a Japanese police siren to say, hey look, you got caught for speeding. You know, it would have seemed really out of place. Is this a servo up here? No, it might just be a rest stop.
Go straight up.
Ah, there he is. It could have been really lazy just to leave a European police siren in, although that would have lost a little bit of immersion, so...
Keep left, and then turn left.
Oh, is this where I got stuck in episode 1?
Turn left.
Didn't matter what I do, just no traffic was just moving at all. Just says it's 100 zone, not 100 zone for a truck. I don't think my speed's still showing as 80, so that must be like a truck speed limit thing. So just on 3 hours of driving time now, we should arrive Monday night just after 7 PM. It's just after 4 PM now. So it's just a matter of clocking up the miles now. So we've done this big long drive without needing to take a rest stop because the ferry worked out really, really well. And we get some day driving in, which is always good. Haha, didn't get me for speeding that time. Haha. Actually, speaking of the Japanese police, the first time I was in Japan, I was in Napori, which is a suburb of Tokyo, and I mainly went there because the prices were good for the hotel that I was in, and the hotel was pretty conveniently located to a subway station. It wasn't right above a subway station as the second place that I stayed at when I was in Shinjuku, but it was fairly conveniently located. It's about a 10-minute walk to the station, which was fine. And so one day I was there, and the police were, I think they were doing a like a community safety day sort of thing, and so they had some Japanese things that they gave away, which I willingly accepted. Conversation was obviously basically zero because of my understanding of Japanese and his probable understanding of English, but a good time was had. But the best time, I've probably mentioned it before, was the Japanese firefighters in Shinjuku. They were clearing snow out of their driveway. I was taking photos, and they're like, and I don't even know how, but the message was pretty clear. I was able to understand that they would like me to help them. And so I did help them. And I got a rather sweet photo, which I still have, of these Japanese firefighters from Shinjuku and me after we were shoveling the snow. But it was a bit of a struggle to actually get the photo because my phone battery was rather low. And so we had a couple of attempts at it, but it worked out, and good time was had by all. We were even throwing snowballs at the end. It was a lot of fun. Oh, you got me for speeding again. What was I? 11 miles over. Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking, well, they get me for 2 k's over. Hasn't Toyama discovered.
Keep right, and then turn right.
I'll go after this guy.
Turn right.
Should be able to find a Toyama. Should be able to find a service station around here. It is getting a little bit low in the fuel department, a bit lower than I'd like. There's another rest stop that I need. Oh, is that a gas station over there? I think it is. How am I going to get in there is the question. Oh yeah, I can do this. And I can get out the other side. Just to be on the safe side. We didn't need to do that. No, I do not want to cancel my job. No, I do not want to cancel my job. I just want to get rid of that. Alright, that will do. Let's have a look outside. I didn't do a very good job of parking, but here we are. And we'll get rid of that. That's good album art. We'll get back in. We'll start our truck up again. So we still have 29 hours in our window. Our next rest stop is in 6.5 hours. Having said that, we are still on track. So we go out this way. Our fuel expenses are covered by our employer, which in this episode or the next episode I should be the employer, so I'll be paying for that.
Never mind. I'll find a new route.
It's not that hard, Skynet, on this occasion.
Right.
I haven't steered you in the wrong direction that badly. Just needed some fuel. So just under 2 hours to go now. Straight on. Thank you, Skynet. Speed limit's 50. I'm probably doing about 30. Don't want to do much more than that realistically. Which Project Japan really excels is these small Japanese towns. They're really good. You do really feel like you are driving in Japan, which is, of course, the whole idea. Oh, that's cool. The river. I love seeing the big range of trucks that they have featured. Oh, on an sort of unrelated note, if you follow me around Simulated Irk, you'll know that I love trains. That's no state secret. Anywho, thinking about Japan and how it's basically taken a team of people to basically do a modification of Euro Truck Sim to create Japan in Project Japan. For many, many years, people in the train simulator community have been, and quite rightly, screaming out for either Australian or New Zealand trains in Train Simulator. In actual fact, there are Japanese trains in Train Simulator. There's not a lot of them, but they are there.
Get ready to turn left.
There's about 3 separate routes in. I'll stop here. There's about 3 different routes in Train Simulator that you can purchase for Japanese routes. Nothing like the bullet train, the Shinkansen, or the Yamamoto line or whatever. But there are Japanese lines that you can purchase. As of now, you can actually purchase a line in New Zealand, which has been rather cool to see. It's not modern day New Zealand, it's New Zealand at the end of the steam, start of the diesel era, 1968. They could have lied and just said they modelled it on 1969, because that's a nice year, 1969.
Get ready to turn right. Turn right.
Do I need to go backwards? Yeah, I do. Oh, it's always good. On a side note, just get rid of that for a minute. It's always good on a side note when you see, for the first time, the name of the place you're actually going to on a street sign. Gee, this is really tight. Oh, that's got a tractor on the back. Gonna have to be really careful to sneak past that. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so there is a Japanese series of routes on Train Simulator, and for the first time, there is a New Zealand route on Train Simulator. And there's been some places in the world that have been neglected by Train Simulator in relation to like their size of their markets, or the amount of routes on there isn't huge for the amount of people that are in the country and the people who love trains. For instance, in China there are some Chinese routes, not many. In Japan there's like 3 routes. And India, with the amount of people that are in India, there's some stuff that have been locally developed by Indians, but not official by any stretch of the imagination. But it's there. There is some stuff there if you know how to find it. So I was...
Go straight on.
Thank you, Skynet. I was really pleased to see a New Zealand route. One of the interesting things, though, if you don't watch my Train Simulator videos, there's two different ways that you can play. You can either do a quick drive, which is just get in a train, drive somewhere, you don't necessarily have to worry about stopping at the stations or whatever, and then there's a scenario based situation. Now if you just get in a train and drive, you know, you've only got to stop at the station at the other end of the route. You don't necessarily have to stop at the ones in the middle. So I left the first station in New Zealand at what I thought was 9 o'clock in the morning in summer. Then it started to get dark. It shouldn't be getting dark in the middle of summer, in the middle of what I thought was the morning. So by the time I arrived at about 11:30 a.m, it looked like 11:30 p.m. and it was dark, headlights on, etc. Now I actually reached out to the development team, and they said that that is an issue that they've discovered, not with the route but the way that Train Simulator's set up. Because what I thought was the case that in wherever you were, I thought it was just the local time. So if you're in a New Zealand route, you set it for 9 a.m, it'd be 9 a.m. New Zealand time. If you're in Japan, you'd set it for 9 a.m, it'd be 9 a.m. Japan time.
Get ready to turn left.
If you're in London, like Skynet's from, you would think that it would be 9 a.m. London time. But no,
Turn left.
for some reason, because I hadn't really thought of the Southern Hemisphere before, the Southern Hemisphere, but everywhere below this line, because I hadn't really thought of the Southern Hemisphere and never had a need to worry about the Southern Hemisphere before, it was actually confused, and it was thinking that 9 a.m.
Get ready to turn right.
Haru, we are here. It actually thought that 9 a.m. in summer was 9 p.m. in summer, and so that's why the sun set. So what I had to do,
Turn right.
I had to set it for 9 p.m. So it was 9 p.m. in game time, but it was actually 9 a.m. New Zealand time, and that worked. Speaking of working, this has worked. We are here.
This is where it ends.
Thank you, Skynet. So we'll complete the delivery. Okay, here we go. Are we in level 4? Yes, we are. We're in level 4 now. 526 kilometres driven, 23 hours, 51 minutes, and nearly 24 hours. And as I explained in a previous episode, because of the ferry, the truck was basically in motion the whole time. So 526 kilometres. We got our level 3 bonus. We got our level 3, our skill rank 3 long distance delivery bonus. So we are almost halfway through level 4. Hopefully on the next episode we will get to level 5. So we can add something to our long distance. We'll go to the job market for what should hopefully be the final time. And we'll sort by route length. Um, 18 tons of office paper. 526 kilometres. And that leaves from where we were too, so that works out. Natural rubber. Okay. So next time, 18 kilometres of office paper, really? 18 tons of office paper from Hireu to Akashi. 526 kilometres inland, 800 kilometres of ferry. Let's take the job. We'll have a look at our trucks. Skynet will figure out our new route. Let's have a look at our truck. It's a DAF or a DAF, I'm not exactly sure which. Trying to figure out our way out of here. Oh, right there. Why do they make it nearly impossible to get out? That's going to need a 50-point turn to get out of there. I'm Simulated Erk. You've been wonderful. We continue our journey to level 5 next time. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.